I was with the Dragoons ever since.
So, since you've started as a reservist and you went Reg Force, what was kind of the biggest difference in lifestyle, I guess, being a reservist versus now a Reg Force?
So when I was younger, I will say it was um, a bit of that mentality of when you're a reservist, you're like, oh, I'm just here for a contract. If I got to fix a few vehicles, and then I'm not gonna have to worry about that because that'll be the next guy's thing.
Right.
But then when you go reg force, and that's your name on that inspection sheet, and
Yeah.
you gotta make sure. So there was a bit of a mentality shift. Like you just couldn't half it. Like you had to make sure that
It's
your
more.
inspections were done properly.
It's serious now. You're not pretending to be Army. You're living Army now at that
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah.
And life in Pet is how is that versus Gagetown and
So
and
when I
Halifax?
moved in well, it was I love I'm from Nova Scotia. I love it, but I found when I moved from Half or Gagetown to here, when I got posted, world different, especially with housing. Um,
Okay.
I went through a separation actually. My the mother of my son and I, just before we had I'd gotten posted, we separated. So
Okay.
I went to Petawawa on my own. She stayed here with my son here in Gagetown.
Right.
So that was a bit of a hard thing at a young age. Was trying to deal with that separation and trying to get with custody and child support. That was a big thing at 22, 23 years old.
And that's a challenge. You got a lot to focus on with that. Plus, you're moving, you're Reg Force, you're now in a new city, on a new base, um, getting tossed into shacks, I guess, at that point.
No, I was actually able to do my house hunting trip and get a house.
Oh, okay, even better. That's way better than
Yeah.
getting tossed into shacks, because a lot of times that's what happens. Like guys that get posted in, they're especially being a single guy. Now you get posted in, they toss you in the shacks, and that is a miserable life to be in the shacks.
Yeah, it was all right because I didn't live far. Actually, I lived just off Victoria Road, so it was just short hop,
Okay,
um, right by the rapids.
yeah,
So it was kind of nice. I had a spot, and um, but the reason why I had to have the house was because my my I'd bring my son up to Petawawa, and I was trying to fight for custody at the time. So it was nice to have that house, so then I could say, "Hey, I have a house. I'm not living in the shacks and
right,
everything that goes on there."
right. So now you're with the Dragoons. How was how's breaking the vehicles now as armored recce as opposed to being a vehicle tech?
Well, as much as breaking the vehicles, it was kind of nice because there were some people that when I was a vehicle tech here in Gagetown were posted to the Dragoons as vehicle techs. So
Okay.
guess who had to go over to maintenance? Yours truly,
Yeah, you can.
go fix the vehicles. Doing some of the driver maintenance and
Wow.
uh, having that ability to know the shorthand. And I need this fix, this fix, this fix. Okay, well here's an axle. You know what you're doing. Go do it.
Well,
Right.
I guess that gives you kind of a leg up on being, armored recce. Since you've already worked on the vehicles in the past, you understand them, you know their capabilities, and you can also work with the vehicle techs in house because you can speak their language. So this definitely gives you a bit of a leg up for sure. So
Yeah, it was great because you know having done run-up tests on some of the vehicles, and you're like, hey, that doesn't quite sound right, or whatever have you. So it made that, hey man, I think my turbo's going, and you do the quick check, and he comes in and goes, yeah, yeah, it's busted. Let's get a new turbo. And I'm
Right.
thinking, oh, I'm home free, but he's like, no, no, you're
Y-
disassembling it.
You're doing it too.
Yeah, so couldn't quite escape it, but it was nice. It was good,
And,
especially in Wainwright.
and I know you've sent us a couple of photos as well of you doing the armored recce thing. So were you able to get involved with the big exercise that happens in Wainwright every year? And so,
Yeah, I did that in 2014. B Squadron, they went at the time, but I was an augmentee for that.
okay,
And that was really my big first exercise experience was being up in Wainwright for Maple Resolve. And it was nice. It was well, my first time. It was nice to get that check in the box to like, oh, now I know what everyone talks about Wainwright.
yeah, yeah, that gives shivers to a lot of people for sure. But what's it like, I guess, because Maple Resolve is a combined arms exercise, and it's a massive exercise that takes people from all over the country. What's it like stepping out into the field, seeing that much, force all in one spot?
Um, I think it was kind of cool because there was the guy from 2RCR. I'd already kind of know. I was like, oh, I know a couple of people from 2RCR, a couple of people from Seed Squadron that were here already. That kind of made it really nice already. And then seeing like the 1RCR guys, the artillery, seeing some of the British, the Americans, seeing how the Americans work too.
Right.